So I did not end up working out on Tuesday just because I had a fairly busy day where I was pretty active and doing a lot of things, and I was just beat by the end of the day. So I kind of decided it was probably best for myself to just take the day off and regroup on Thursday. And today was pretty good. Did a chest and tricep, back and tricep workout, and was able to continue advancing a lot of the things that I have been, and had a lot of success overall with that. Um, and it just feels nice, to be continually pushing forward and being able to get stronger and really kind of see aspects of that, in ways that aren't as apparent as like pulling a 1 rep max. Being able to rep out a certain weight for more than I had before, up the weight higher than what it had been previously, kind of things along those lines that really are more subtle indicators of strength gains. Because sometimes depending on your conditions, you can do sets like that, at a certain weight, but when they're thrown into an overall, a full workout, it's a different story. Just because there's so much more going on that wears you out before you can actually approach that, or before you can really dedicate, where you can't really dedicate everything to it. So it's fun to really kind of see that progress. I have been seeing over the past few weeks that my muscles are that I'm working, so primarily chest, biceps, triceps, back, and shoulders, have been becoming more toned. I think that's just a result of being more active with them, so they're getting more blood overall to try to work on recovery with it. And so they're just kind of looking bigger overall because of that. And, it is also probably a consequence of just developing more muscle in that area because of higher activity. But, it's just nice to see. It's fruits of your labor really kind of coming together to really kind of showcase that what you're doing is working. I am looking forward to seeing how this is going to end up affecting my current goal, which is pushing my bench press up to 1 rep max of 250 pounds. I think this should really help, just because working the opposite of the chest just kind of help offer more strength in the negative, and just kind of stabilization when holding that weight. It should really help. Being able to just kind of bear it. The chest is still the primary mover of that exercise, but you're going to have the equal and opposite, reactions to every sort of movement. So with training your chest, you want to have some, build up in your back to help accommodate that additional capacity in the chest to be able to fully utilize it. And I think that's part of what this is kind of aiming to do. I am hoping to be able to get back into squatting and deadlifting soon. My hip has been feeling super well. Well, not my hip, my right leg and my right glute has been feeling really well. I haven't felt any strain in it as of late, over the past couple of weeks where I haven't done really any work with it at all. I haven't felt discomfort. There's been no kind of lingering sensations in it. So I think it's getting close to a point to where I can start doing some work with it again. I'm kind of debating how I want to approach it. Next week is going to be very hectic for me with workouts. I'm probably not going to be able to work out on Saturday. Thursday's questionable, and I feel like Tuesday's out of the window as well, just because I'm going to be spending all next week prepping to move. So I'm going to be getting all of my stuff packed up. I'm debating whether I want my basically the last things I'm going to pack are going to be my gym gear and my bed, just because I want to be able to utilize the things that I want to use in that time frame. And the other things I really kind of use out of all of my things routinely are my bed, my exercise equipment. But I don't know. It's something I'm thinking over how I want to approach it. But next week and then the beginning of the week after, as I'm unpacking everything's going to be a little hectic. I'm going to try to get workouts in as I can, but it might just be a little difficult given the time constraints I'm going to be under with just myself trying to move out. This set, I realized as I was walking away, I only did 10 reps. I was counting in my head. I'm like, wait a second, that wasn't 12. So I had to put that, grab that again and just kind of do those last couple, finish it up. Pushing up to 100 pounds on the landmine press, or the landmine, or not landmine press, but the T-bar rows wasn't that bad. But moving up to 75 for the last set of the landmine presses was somewhat difficult. And I was able to get through it. But it's one of those situations to where it was difficult and I could do it. So I needed to do it just because, as I mentioned last week, my last workout sessions, that being complacent doesn't really help present too many opportunities for growth, and that you have to push yourself a little bit beyond your current capabilities, or pretty much right up to the edge, to spur the body to go, okay, so here's the stimulus we couldn't quite handle at the time. We need to adapt to it. How do we do it? We're going to build muscle and develop strength so that we can better respond to it next time. And that's kind of the whole thing with kind of progressive overload and working out to gain strength. So I had that stimulus of one set at 75 pounds. It was difficult, but I was able to get through it. My body's now kind of been through that. So when I do this next week, if I do this workout, if I'm able to get this specific one in, and I hit 75 pounds for 2 sets next week, it should be pretty doable. It might be hard, but I'll be able to get through it. And then, the next one I'd push up to 75 for 4 sets, and I'll be doing it the same as I was doing 70 before. And then slowly working that to adapt and grow, and then adding more and more weight from there, as I get stronger and stronger in that movement. And sometimes a lot of these movements aren't going to really translate over to the specific movement you're wanting to work on. So in this case, with me being bench pressing and pressing overall, but just developing more roundabout strength in other movements does benefit you in terms of like net strength and just overall health. And not everything has to be kind of specialized to that. You can have some things that just help kind of take your mind off that specific movement, because sometimes things can get stale, especially with bodybuilding. I find that at least with doing like a 5x5 routine to train squats or deadlifts, I really don't get too bored of that, just because the movement itself I enjoy so much that I don't have to really kind of convince myself to keep doing it or find ways to trick myself that it's still novel. But with doing, bench and overhead press and things like that, where it's movements that I'm not as keen to do, especially involving something like bodybuilding, I really have to make sure that I introduce a lot of variety and kind of change things up now and again to be able to keep that novelty to it. And that sometimes that just involves doing unorthodox exercises or things that don't directly or immediately benefit what it is you're trying to do. Some things are just kind of more for aesthetic purposes, which in the long run can motivate you to keep doing certain exercises, because if you're looking better, you're probably going to feel better about how you're going about doing it. That's kind of a nice way to trick your body into really kind of doing the work that you're wanting to do. It's all fun mind games. It's a good time. I'm just getting stronger. I'm feeling better, and I'm just looking forward to seeing results coming forward. I think one thing that I may do next week, to be honest, given the limited time I'm going to have to work out, is just doing certain things for a 1 rep max. So doing bench, doing squats, doing deadlifts, just seeing where they stand. I hope that at least with bench, I can probably do something north of 200, maybe 210, 220, if I'm lucky, and kind of prove to myself that what I'm doing has merit at the moment. If not, I may need to kind of change things up a bit and maybe introduce more barbell bench press just to help familiarize myself with that movement. And I know that's one thing that I've always kind of debated on in the past, where I don't really train 1 rep maxes on bench because I haven't really had the capability to do it with a lack of like safeties and things like that. But I'm going to be getting to a point to where I can do that because I will have the equipment to adequately protect myself in that movement. So that is something that I'll probably move in, into my training routine soon. But it's just a matter of getting to that point. So we'll see kind of what the next couple weeks hold as I just get everything moved, figure out how I'm going to be approaching this while I get this transition taken care of. And hopefully by, middle of October, I'll be back into a solid routine to where I can go through and really kind of buckle down on, getting to that 2 plate and maybe even a 250-pound bench before the end of the year. So here's hoping I can keep that up.